Alright, today we're going to make pumpkin spice funnel cake. And if you like funnel cakes, like the carnival funnel cakes, this is a great take on like a pumpkin flavor spiced funnel cake. So it's going to be great. One of the things you need oil in a pan, and I'm going to use this pan and fill it up about 2/3 of the way full, maybe only halfway full. You need flour, you need baking powder, you need baking soda, cinnamon, salt, 1 egg, brown sugar, pumpkin puree, cup of milk, pumpkin spice, and for the topping you're going to use powdered sugar and cinnamon. So I'm going to start mixing my ingredients together. Okay, I put my oil in here, and you want quite a bit of oil in here, but not so much to where it's going to overflow when you do it. So that's enough to make either 2 small funnel cakes or 1 fairly good sized funnel cake. And I'm going to turn it on, and you should get it up to about 350 degrees or so. So if you have something that has a thermometer, you can use the thermometer on it. I'm just going to turn it on around 7 on my stove, and I'll test it with just taking some water and dropping it in there. The water shouldn't like splatter and pop all over the place, but it should just bubble a little bit. So that's how I know it'll be warm enough. First thing I'm going to do is get my flour. And you need 1.5 cups of just regular general purpose flour. I had to get more flour because I ran out. And this is a 1/2 cup, so I need 3 1/2 cups to make my 1.5 cups. And then I need a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. There's my baking powder. And you need just a 1/4 teaspoon. And you need 1 teaspoon, 1 full teaspoon of baking soda. A teaspoon of cinnamon. I love the smell of cinnamon. It smells so good. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And just regular high-night salt. A 1/4 cup of tightly packed brown sugar. That's just a 1/4 cup. And to get it packed, I just take my hand and just kind of shove it on in there and just kind of rake the top of it off until it's even with the top of it. That's how I always do my brown sugar. And 3/4 cup of pumpkin puree. And I'm going to see if I can. I might have to get a spoon. I like the smell of pumpkin too. So there's 1. And I need 3 of them since this is only a 1/4 cup. I didn't want too much because I don't want it too runny or too strong, so I wanted to make sure I measured out pretty good. And I need 1 cup of milk, and I've already just measured it out. And then 3/4 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. And that's the brand we just Kroger brand. So I need 3/4, so I'm going to use 3 1/4. It smells good. I don't think I've ever used pumpkin spice before. Okay. And now I'm just going to take my wire whisk and kind of break my sugar up a little bit and just slowly kind of mix it up and whisk it together. And I like to try to break my egg yolk too. And it should be about the consistency of pancake batter, maybe just a little bit thicker. Yeah, I mean, not thicker, maybe just a little bit thinner. That looks pretty good. But I want to mix it up really good because we have the egg and the brown sugar that's kind of firm, and you know that needs to be mixed up pretty good. So. For the part that you sprinkle on the top, you know, the Carnival funnel cakes always have a little powdered sugar on top of them. Well, this is also going to have powdered sugar with a little bit of the, I put the wrong thing up, a little bit of cinnamon on it. I was going to put pumpkin spice on it. So you need your cinnamon and you need half a cup of powdered sugar. Again, it's just a sprinkle on the top. So a half cup powdered sugar, and I'm just going to put it in a bowl. And a teaspoon of cinnamon. And if you like it a little more cinnamon in yours, put a little bit more. Again, this is just going to be sprinkled over the top. And I'm just going to kind of, you can see it's just kind of clumpy right now. I'm just going to take a fork and try to mix up the cinnamon and the sugar together. Try to get as many clumps as I can out of there. If you have a sifter, like a flour sifter, you might want to run it through the flour sifter to get the clumps out. That might be a good idea if you like it really super powdery. If you're okay with a few clumps, which I am, I'm just going to take it and take my hand and just dust it. If you had a screen, like one of the little scoop screens, you could put some of that in there and tap it and make it fall down on top of it. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those things, so I'm just going to wing it and just do it by hand. So maybe put it in a spoon or something and just tap it. We'll figure it out. Okay, so now I've got that kind of mixed up. And what I've got now, I've got a batter, I've got a topping, I have a plate with paper towels on it so you can drain your oil. I have tongs, but I'm going to keep this fork around. I dropped it on the floor. I'm going to keep the fork just in case I don't really have any good luck with the tongs. I might have to use the fork to flip it over, because once it gets brown on one side, you have to turn it over and get it brown on the other side. And I may have to use both. I may have to manipulate it a bit. So we'll see how it works. Okay, I want to see if the temperature of my oil is hot enough, see if it's too hot. So what I'm just going to do is just get a little bit of water on my fingers and just drizzle a little bit. And see how it popped and actually made the oil kind of pop up? That means it's too hot. So I turned my oil down to around 5. I went from 7 to 5. And I'm going to leave it for just a minute. Let it cool off. I might even take it off the burner for just a minute and let it cool off a little bit. And then I'll test it again. I've got a gallon Ziploc bag here. And I'm going to cut a hole on the corner of it off. And don't cut a huge hole. Actually make it pretty small. Smaller than you think it needs to be. I mean, you can see that's not very big at all. Because if you make it too big, they're too fat. And I've got a bowl here. I'm just going to stick the tip that I cut down in there and let it fold over itself so it won't run out. And I'm going to get a half cup scoop, and I can't fill it all the way up with a half a cup. So I'm going to get, it's probably all together, if I were to add it up, it's probably a half cup altogether. So two of the half cups. Does that make sense? Kind of fill it up twice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe it in just like I would a frosting. And you want to swirl it around to where your lines are all overlapping each other. And then you can put it back in the bowl and it won't run anywhere. You just wait until it gets brown. It'll kind of firm up. If you've ever made pancakes, it'll kind of get a little bubbly on the sides. And one thing I've noticed about these, they won't get like a really dark brown like you would see with like a regular funnel cake, because they're already kind of that brownish tint, so they're kind of hard to tell. But if you kind of look at the bottom, see how it's a darker brown than the rest of it. So I'm going to try to flip this over. And this is why I said I would probably get tongs and the fork. And now you just flip it over and let it get brown on the other side. Alright, now just let it sit on this side, and you can kind of see it's gotten brown on that side too. It's not really crispy. If you want them crisper, you can leave them in. You can even flip it over and let it sit. But if you let it drain a little bit, let it sit on your paper towel, And then, like I said, I don't have a filter or anything, so I'm just going to take my hand and just kind of throw it on there. It's not exact science, it's to be eaten. And it's ready to serve. Move it to a different plate and serve it. Okay, we're going to try a bite of the one we just made. It's got a really good flavor. That powdered sugar makes it really good. I think I will get a little crisper next time. Let it cook just a little bit more and get a little crisper. But excellent flavor, but it is a little mushy. So leave it in there and make sure it gets good and crisp on you.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would recommend. And it has a really nice pumpkin flavor to it, like a pumpkin pie. So if you like pumpkin at Thanksgiving or whatever, you would like this.